Amidst the vast wilderness of North America, grizzly bear attacks don't begin with noise, but with silence and observation that lasts for minutes. In a moment of surprise, a short dash can break through entire distances and change the course of events in seconds. These aren't chaotic hunts, but a series of precise decisions where every small deviation leads to an irreversible end. In the wide grasslands of Yellowstone and the Rocky Mountains, a moose moves in open space, near streams and rivers, the open terrain helping to maintain a safe distance. It's nearly 5 feet tall at the shoulder, weighs over 700 pounds, migrates seasonally, and relies on its hearing and sense of smell to detect danger. But sparse woodlands disrupt its vision, and even a short gap is enough for danger to approach. At the edge of the forest, an 800-pound grizzly bear appears, following the wind to minimize its scent. It observes, approaches while the deer herd is preoccupied with feeding, then accelerates, causing panic and scattering the herd. A young deer that strays from the group is isolated and quickly subdued, its fate sealed when there is no longer enough distance to escape. In the open environment, distance and timing largely determine the outcome. Patience and choosing the right moment create a clear advantage, highlighting the difference between the prey's vigilance and the predator's calculated approach, where even a small deviation leads to an irreversible end. In the cold, coniferous forests and grasslands of Alaska, a grizzly bear moves along the streams where salmon appear seasonally, the vast environment forcing it to control territory hundreds of square miles to secure food. And it is that invisible boundary that causes rare encounters to begin to form. When another intruder crosses, from the depths of the forest, another grizzly bear approached. Both stopped, standing upright to display their size, then circled, building pressure. The distance was gradually reduced until it was suddenly broken by a short lunge, shifting from threat to direct confrontation. After a few controlled tug-of-wars, one slowed and retreated, leaving the clear advantage to its opponent. In nature, confrontations rarely last long. They aim to define limits, where strength, size, and timing determine who holds territory and who is forced to leave. Once a clear order is established, amidst the vast, snow-covered landscapes of Yellowstone and the North American taiga forests, a gray wolf moves with its pack through the open terrain, interspersed with woodlands and grasslands, where they are accustomed to hunting large prey and tolerating low temperatures, relying on coordination and distance for survival. But today, the objective has changed as a large food source appears, leading to an inevitable encounter. A grizzly bear, holding its meal, stood still, observing as the pack of wolves fanned out to surround it, circling to apply pressure until the bear suddenly lunged, breaking the wolves' formation, forcing them to scatter and lose their coordination, rendering the approach ineffective and gradually shifting the initiative toward the bear. After a few tense moments, the wolves realized the risk of a direct confrontation with a mature bear and gradually retreated, leaving the bear to continue controlling the food source. In this harsh environment, this outcome demonstrates that the advantage lies with the one who holds its position and reacts at the right time. In the temperate forests interspersed with clearings of North America, a white-tailed deer moves along the edge of the bush near a stream, where the path is clear, but visibility is obscured by low vegetation. It relies on sound and smell to detect danger. But as it enters the transition between forest and grassland, the cover thins, and a brief blind spot appears right in front of it. Hidden in the low-lying vegetation downwind, the grizzly bear doesn't approach directly but cuts across, shortening the distance while the prey moves along its usual path. When the deer changes direction towards the grass, the bear suddenly accelerates at close range, forcing the deer into rough terrain, causing it to lose its balance and momentum in an instant. Opportunities only appear for a few seconds. The grizzly bear closes in and controls the situation before the deer can regain its rhythm. The outcome is determined at the transition point. And in this environment, the advantage belongs to the one who correctly predicts the deer's movement rather than the one who runs faster. Along the frigid rivers of Alaska and the North Pacific, adult salmon return from the ocean after years of living at sea, swimming upstream through shallow, oxygen-rich waters to complete their spawning cycle. This seasonal concentration creates a rare but unavoidable opportunity, as all movement is confined to the narrowest points of the current. Amidst the rushing water, a grizzly bear steps into the river, stands firmly in the middle, and observes the movement below the surface, waiting for salmon to dart through a narrow crevice in the rocks. In an instant, it swings its front paw precisely, creating a surprise catch that leaves the prey no time to change direction, disrupting the rhythm of the school of fish. The hunt is fast and repeated with each movement of the fish school, the grizzly bear maintaining its advantageous position and continuously seizing opportunities. The outcome is determined not by speed, but by patience. And in this environment, the advantage always belongs to the one who understands the laws of the current, when everything has followed an unchangeable trajectory. On the vast grasslands of Yellowstone and Alberta, a bison moves slowly through the open space, where the view stretches for miles and low grass covers the ground. Weighing up to 2,000 pounds, it's accustomed to using its head to push through the snow in winter. But in this wide, unobstructed environment, every movement is easily observed, and a target begins to come into view. From its vantage point on the slope, the The grizzly bear observes the herd of bison, waiting for them to move across the incline, maintaining a safe distance to avoid detection. When a young individual falls behind due to an uneven climb, the bear immediately lunges down due to inertia, closing the distance in seconds and creating a surprise advantage before the prey can react. The decisive moment is quick. The young individual attempts to return to the herd, but the distance has already widened. The grizzly bear closes in and controls the situation. The outcome is decided when the prey cannot return to safety, and the advantage is firmly in favor of the bear that seized the opportune moment. In the cold coniferous forests and swamps of Alaska and Canada, a moose moves slowly near the water's edge, where it finds aquatic plants and cools its body during the mild summer. It is large, accustomed to wading through deep water and moving through muddy swamps. But once out of the water, its agility diminishes, and its familiar advantages begin to fade. At that very moment, from the edge of the forest, a grizzly bear silently observed and lowered its body, following at a safe distance. As the prey crossed the damp ground, the bear suddenly accelerated, forcing the deer to turn back to defend itself and disrupting its movement, gradually closing the gap with each step. The confrontation didn't last long. The moose tried to maintain distance, but the slippery terrain reduced its effectiveness. The grizzly bear took advantage of the moment to close in and control the situation. The outcome was decided when the prey could not return to the water, and the tide turned decisively in favor of the predator. In the dense forests and mixed woodlands of North America, a black bear moves among large trees and thick bushes, where berries, seeds, and water sources are readily available. It is accustomed to climbing to avoid danger, often choosing wooded areas for hiding. But when it comes down to the ground to forage, that advantage begins to diminish. From deep within its territory, the grizzly bear detected the tracks and approached, not rushing to attack but closing in step by step, creating direct pressure. As the distance shortened, it proactively cornered its opponent towards the dense vegetation, forcing the black bear to choose between confrontation or leaving the area to avoid risk. The confrontation ended quickly, with the black bear choosing to leave the area to avoid risk, gradually retreating from the disputed zone and yielding space to the grizzly bear. In this situation, the outcome did not come from a direct collision, but from forcing the opponent to leave first. Through each encounter, grizzly bears rely not on aggression, but on observation, timing, and exploiting the weaknesses of the environment and their opponents. Each attack is different, but all follow a common principle: controlling distance, controlling movement, and controlling the final decision. And in the wild, the winner is not the strongest, but the one who understands the right time to strike. when nature enters its most tense moment. Silence can sometimes be a sign of an impending confrontation. Predators rely not only on speed, but also on observation, calculation, and the perfect timing. A single step forward, a reaction, or even a small distance can determine the outcome. Amidst the deep forests, rivers, and vast grasslands, what makes a predator control the moment of survival? Along the edges of rivers and swamps in South America, crocodiles maintain a position close to the water's surface, where prey often approaches to drink. Their long bodies, powerful tails, and strong bites help them grip their targets and drag them underwater. This advantage depends on maintaining their position, where reactions are quick and effective. This advantage also creates an opening to exploitation. On shore, a leopard approaches slowly, maintaining distance and observing the crocodile's turn. It chooses the right angle of movement, closing the distance while the crocodile maintains its initial position. When close enough, it accelerates briefly, closing in from the side, making it difficult for the crocodile to turn around in time. Forced away from the water's edge, the crocodile turns to find an escape route. Its return path is blocked in a narrow space, so the distance to the water cannot be shortened. It gradually slows down on shore, remaining only a short distance from the water's edge. When it can no longer return to a favorable environment, the advantage shifts to the side controlling the distance. In the Serengeti, buffalo gather in large herds near rivers, where there is water and grass to eat and cool off during the dry season. They move in tight formations, young in the middle, adults surrounding, creating a constant layer of protection. Safety depends on maintaining the formation. Even a slight gap increases the risk. From that gap, an opportunity quickly forms. A buffalo separates from the herd while grazing, unaware of the danger. From a distance, the lion observes, moving slowly and adjusting its course to approach stealthily. When positioned, it accelerates briefly, forcing the buffalo off course and away from the herd. Once separated from the herd, a brief chase ensues across the open grassland. The buffalo turns repeatedly to rejoin the formation, but its options are increasingly blocked. Eventually, it is completely separated, and the encounter ends before the herd can rejoin. A small gap can weaken the herd's cohesion in a short time. When the formation can no longer maintain distance, its ability to protect itself is significantly reduced. In this environment, maintaining position is more important than individual strength, and the advantage belongs to the one who seizes the right moment. In the open, low-lying grasslands of Africa, zebras move in spaces that are open enough for observation and covered enough for changing direction. They migrate seasonally, maintaining good fitness and the ability to run long distances. Their greatest efficiency is achieved by maintaining distance from the herd. a factor easily diminished when the pace of movement changes. The rapid change in pace leads to separation. One hyena follows behind, maintaining a steady speed and not approaching directly, while others spread out to the sides to orient the herd. The space around the zebra gradually narrows as the prey's speed slightly decreases, shifting from tracking to control. As the range of movement shrinks, the zebra accelerates to rejoin the formation and constantly changes direction. Escape routes are controlled, making it impossible to close the distance to the herd. It gradually slows down at the edge of the formation, only a short distance from the herd. When the position is no longer secure, the advantage shifts to the side, maintaining pressure. In the low-lying savannas of Kenya, warthogs often roam near waterholes, providing food and escape routes in case of danger. They use burrows as shelters, turning inwards to react quickly when threatened. Their safety depends on maintaining distance from the burrow, a factor easily altered when detected. The distance to the hiding place gradually narrowed as the lions approached and surrounded the area. They didn't attack immediately, but instead applied pressure, digging and maintaining a cordon around the entrance. The moment the warthog charged out, the entire pride moved in unison, blocking its escape route. Leaving the safe zone, the warthog accelerated and constantly changed direction to get away. Its escape routes were gradually blocked, making a return impossible. Finally, it slowed down in the clearing and was unable to return to its hiding place. Among herds of wildebeest on the savanna, strength lies in collective reflexes rather than individual prowess. The slightest unusual movement triggers the entire herd to move in the same direction to escape danger. This synchronicity helps maintain distance from predators until a slight deviation in formation occurs. That very lapse in direction created an opportunity. The cheetahs approached from a distance, lowering their bodies and maintaining a steady pace to close the gap without attracting attention. When the distance was close enough, they accelerated and cornered the antelope, forcing it to separate from the herd. From the point of separation, the antelope accelerated to rejoin the formation. Its direction of travel was constantly adjusted, making it impossible to close the gap with the herd quickly enough. Eventually, it stopped at the edge of the formation, only a short distance from the herd, and the advantage shifted to the one that maintained its direction. In environments ranging from open woodlands to savannas and forest edges, snakes are widely distributed and move nimbly across a variety of terrains. Their long bodies help them conceal themselves under dry leaves, in bushes, or in crevices, and react quickly when detected. Their defensive capabilities depend on maintaining distance in confined spaces. a factor easily lost when their position is revealed. The hiding place was discovered when the honey badger noticed movement beneath the leaves. It approached slowly, maintaining distance and observing the snake's reaction before closing in. When close enough, it accelerated briefly, forcing the snake to change direction and lose its ability to maintain a stable distance. After being exposed, the snake continuously changed direction to maintain distance. Its pathways gradually narrowed, making it impossible to maintain a safe distance. Eventually, it slowed down and could no longer maintain the advantage. In the transitional zone between grasslands and open woodlands of sub-Saharan Africa, impalas thrive near water sources where they have ample food and visibility. They move in herds of several dozen to hundreds, maintaining close proximity and reacting quickly to any movement. This close-knit group provides security until their rhythm begins to err. That misalignment created a gap that was quickly exploited. The pack of wild dogs approached from a distance, circling around, maintaining their distance and observing the prey's reaction. The pressure was maintained constantly, forcing the impala to move more and gradually deplete its energy. The newly formed gap pushed the impala off course from returning to the pack. It accelerated and changed direction repeatedly to rejoin the formation, but its escape routes were increasingly blocked. Eventually, it slowed down at the edge of the formation and was unable to return. Along major rivers, elephants move in herds in search of water and food. An adult can weigh from 6,000 to over 13,000 pounds, possessing great strength and the ability to react quickly when threatened. Safety depends on maintaining formation and keeping a distance from the water's edge, where danger often lurks. This stable state began to change when a crocodile lay still underwater. Observing the herd's movements, it held its position, waiting for an individual to approach the water's edge before accelerating briefly to close in. This approach forced the elephant to change direction, prompting the entire herd to react immediately. From that reaction, the adults quickly advanced and formed a protective circle, pushing the young elephants away. This coordinated action prevented the crocodile from maintaining its position and forced it to retreat. Ultimately, the elephant herd moved away from the water's edge, maintaining distance and avoiding danger. In the harsh world of nature, every encounter is a test of instinct, tactics, and survival skills. The strongest doesn't always win, but often the one who knows how to exploit even the smallest advantages. when distance, speed, and timing are controlled. A single decisive moment can completely change the outcome of a confrontation.